Are you struggling to receive wisdom? Have you ever been in a situation where you needed wisdom, but it was nowhere to be found? Well, I may have a solution for you. My name is Shane Gerhard, and today's Wednesday, so we are getting into some wisdom. We are looking at Proverbs 1, verse 20, which says, "Wisdom calls out in the street. She makes her voice heard in the public squares." Now let's break this down for a minute and think about street and a public square. Very rarely do we ever go into the street without a purpose. We're usually trying to get from point A to point B. Likewise, when you're in a public square, this usually has stores, markets, shops. Typically, you're in a public square with a purpose to acquire something. You're on a mission. So what do these have in common? Well, for starters, you have a purpose and you're moving forward towards something. You're typically going about your normal everyday business and you're focused on whatever task is at hand. The second thing is that in these areas, in the street, in the public square, it's noisy, it's loud, it has commotion, it has so many things trying to pull your attention. It has a ton of people talking, maybe even to you, trying to sell you things, whatever it may be. So you're in this area where you have a specific mission that you are on. You're trying to get from point A to point B, acquire something that you need in a world full of commotion, loudness, and things trying to grab your attention. But the thing is, this is where wisdom is. It's all around you, trying to also fight for your attention. You know, it's kind of like the Truman Show. This is a movie about a man who lives in this giant sphere that this television company had produced. And so his whole life is essentially a TV show, a lie, and he never is aware of this. And so he goes through his normal everyday life, but if he were to pay closer attention to his surroundings, he notices things falling out of the sky like a light. There's people who get onto the show and break into the sphere trying to warn him and get his attention and say, hey, you're on a TV show. People are watching your life. He runs into multiple scenarios where if he just took a moment to really press in and look into it, he would recognize he is on a TV set. That is wisdom in your life. You have to be the one to slow down and pay attention to wisdom calling you. Wisdom is trying to get your attention, but you are going through your normal life. It is a whisper, a sound that you must develop to hear when it is calling to you and recognize when to be able to press in. Because if you don't, when you run into those scenarios where you need wisdom, it won't be there for you. It's kind of like in the movie Zorro, where this man's brother has been killed and he wants vengeance, he wants revenge. And so he's drinking himself away and he ends up seeing his brother's killer. And he starts running up to him, but this man stands up and stops him from moving forward. He prevents him from moving forward. That man represents wisdom. That man was the original Zorro, and he prevented him from going out and getting killed. Now, if that man wasn't there, or if he completely ignored him, because the man represents wisdom, if he completely ignored that wisdom, brushed it on by, and went right past, he would have died. The main character would have died in that moment. However, wisdom was in place to prevent him from doing something foolish. And the more you begin to listen to wisdom, the more powerful it becomes in your life, the more you can listen to its lessons and gain understanding. Because in the movie Zorro, when he leans into this man and learns eventually that he is the original Zorro, he trains him up, he equips him, he gives him all the knowledge he possibly has, so that way he is better prepared to go out into the world, into the surroundings that he needs, but always still leaning upon the wisdom that he pressed into. But none of that would have ever happened. He never would have become the man he was meant to be if he never listened to the wisdom in his life that was trying to get his attention, but did not come in the package that he wanted. So here is your wisdom for today. Sit down and quiet yourself and look around you for the clues. Start learning to press in for the pieces of wisdom in your life. Ask the Lord, send me wisdom, and then humble yourself, take a step back, and look for it. Because wisdom is calling out to you through the noise of the world, but it's waiting for you to listen. Hey, thank you so much for joining in on today's wisdom. My name is Shane Gerhardt, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.